Okay, friends, good morning. This is an essay on branding. Sometimes a notion so offensive comes along, you wonder how it managed to worm its way into the popular consciousness. Such a one is the concept of branding. You hear it touted as a value everywhere in the marketing of products, celebrities, politicians, ideas, and to judge by its ubiquity, you'd have to believe it serves a purpose in our contemporary culture. Everyone has to have a brand, or be branded. Once you get branded, you or your product become instantly recognizable to the masses eager to consume it, or you. But let's pause for a moment to consider the origin of the word. Branding is the practice of burning an icon into the flesh of a living being by means of a red-hot iron to assert ownership or inflict punishment. Cattle were branded. Perhaps they still are to this day. Slaves in ancient days were branded. In 17th century America, adulterers were branded in order to punish and publicly humiliate offenders. I think it's worth bearing these origins in mind before delighting too much in the term's transference to the field of marketing. I personally have no wish to be imprinted with the mark of a corporate owner, who will then presumably have the authority to tell me what to do or how to behave or what to write. I become a slave, whether to some image of the self I wish to sell or to others. It matters not. A slave is a slave is a slave. Had branding remained the domain of the corporate world, it might well have not been quite so offensive. They are, after all, defined by their need to satisfy the bottom line. Unhappily, its toxin has spread into the creative world, and it risks poisoning our collective culture. Consider the world of books, for example, my own pet beef, forgive the pun. The major publishers depend more and more heavily on the brand to market their product. We need to look no further than the success of former Governor Sarah Palin's book to understand that it's not a celebration of the writer's art, but rather a product that is profitably marketable thanks to its author's brand. If you're not already branded or brandable, you might as well forget the publication of your startling new work of fiction, unless, of course, you get very, very lucky. Or consider the world of fine art. Who wants to be known as the guy who, fill in the blank, paints Campbell's soup cans, immerses sharks in formaldehyde? You choose it. Or, oh yeah, she's the woman who smears her naked body with chocolate. Whatever, you choose it. But it happens. If it doesn't happen by your choice, it might well be inflicted on you. One sad effect of this kind of thinking is that it stifles creativity. The market does much better, thank you, if artists simply repeat their previous successes. How many artists have started out in the past 50 years or so to great renown, only to fade into obscurity? Thank God, the best of those left unceremoniously by the wayside have learned to ignore the dictates of the market, only to be rediscovered much later in life. Like Carmen Herrera, a wonderful artist, 94 years old, written up a few weeks ago in the New York Times after decades of obscurity and neglect. You have your own favorites, I have mine. They are more numerous than they deserve to be. It pays then to be branded as an artist too. It pays to do the one thing you'll be known by, recognized by, sold as. But whatever happened to the Renaissance man or the Renaissance woman? The artist, writer, designer, philosopher, scientist, whose curiosity about the world led him or her to explore many different paths, many different outlets for the life of the mind. Try branding Leonardo, that guy who... what? It's in this way that our culture gladly sacrifices true creativity to the siren call of commerce. In this context, it seems to me, the true task of the artist, the writer, the musician, is to learn the difficult skills of non-collaboration, the art of finding their own distinctive voice, yes, but with the understanding that this voice must articulate always something new.